Okay, early bird gets the worm here, I think. We should be live. I believe so. Let's see here. A little early. We're going live a few minutes early. But early bird gets the worm. Let me get the chat here where I can read it. Get that there. So now I can read it. All right, we should be live. Once my kitty cat comes in, we gotta close the door, but I'm gonna put this a little bit closed here. So, let's fill in on where we are. New channel is going extremely well. We've already applied for monetization. We're pacing for millions of views on the second channel, which is going great. So shout out to everyone who went over to the second channel. Appreciate you. Love y'all. That's going very well. So we're going to continue the post content there. We might do some live streams on that YouTube channel as well for when Diablo 4 comes out. Man, I got my boxers and my shorts like crooked. It's literally the worst thing on the planet. But welcome to the stream. All right. So obviously one thing is on everybody's mind today. That is going to be the game in question, Diablo 4. Now, I have a bunch of footage recorded that is non-spoiler stuff I can share. If you're going to ask any questions or we're going to get into anything about spoilers, I can't discuss it. So the only things that I can talk about are things like gameplay mechanics, my experience with Druid, you know, tips, tricks, stuff like that. So feel free to ask basic questions. If I don't know, I'm just going to say I don't know. Keep in mind, I haven't been playing the game for years. Only days. All right. So I have a head start, but a small head start. All right. Pretty much it in terms of an intro. Is the in-game good? I thought so. I will say it seemed to me like you get to the in-game a little bit quicker than I would have guessed. But my definition of in-game could be terrible. My definition of in-game would be like getting to the less difficulty, like World Tier 4. That doesn't. We didn't beat the ultimate like level 100 boss or anything. We just did it. We were level 70 and 71. New channel name. It's the one with the pinned comment in the chat. DM Diablo 4. Pretty easy to find. Has like red thumbnails, red and blue thumbnails. How do dungeons feel? Still pretty repetitive? Yes. Definitely. I actually was confused by the dungeons, as I thought that a lot of the things that you had to do in the dungeons were fixed, but they were still there. So the backtracking was a little better, admittedly, but it did still feel like you're basically running in a circle, which is fine. It's fine. That's not really the part that got me. The ones that got me was the have to slay all enemies. I'm not too big of a fan of that, personally. I thought it was going to be like slay 90%, and I thought that they were supposed to like run at you or something to make having to track them down a little easier. I didn't experience either of those, to answer that question. Do you still like Druid after playing more of the game? I like Druid even more. Druid feels absolutely fucking fantastic. I want to say near zero complaints. I mean, this is level 51 footage. This is me, I think, farming World Tier 3, so this is sort of more mid-game, directly after you unlock Paragon Board. The build I was running with, I fucking love. I am going to absolutely run with the same build. There is zero doubt in my mind that Pulverized Earth Druid for me is, at a minimum, extremely fun. But it's everything I want in a build, basically. Okay, maybe I could use some more resource generation, admittedly. But it's more or less everything I want in a build. Okay, kitty cat's in here. We can close the door now. Meow, meow. Kitty's been on one today. But for real, though, if you're debating playing Druid, just do it. You're going to miss the map generation of D2. The game felt, in terms of that, actually closer to D2 than D3, I'm going to be honest. D3, for me, felt like one continual arcade game. I might as well have a stick and be putting in quarters. Whereas D4 felt much slower. Felt like a game, you know, as opposed to like a mini game, if that makes sense. But to be fair, it wasn't as what's the term for it? D3 wasn't as fast when the game came out. It was actually quite difficult. That's why Crip's achievement was so like legendary and stuff, because it was actually difficult. So, but I would think it's closer to D2. There's actually some strategies in the game that implement, from my understanding, I'm not a D2 guy, but from my understanding, implemented similarly, where there's some farms that you will leave the game and then just re-enter the game in order to do again. Slavedro was showing me one of these, so shout out to the boy. And that was interesting because that's not like a mechanic that I'm normally used to. And to be honest, it's not a mechanic I actually like. The key of Nightmare Dungeon can be traded. I don't think you can trade sigils. You can craft them. After you've done a certain amount of them, you get them from the tree, which is like the thing you basically want to do anyway, or one of the things. So it's pretty fine in terms of, I would say it's fine. I would say it's the way you get the Nightmare Sigils is fine. It didn't feel difficult or whatever. In fact, you can craft the ones that are like 100 right at the beginning, pretty much. Because as soon as you do like 10 dungeons, you more or less have this dust or whatever, and you can use it to craft stuff. And we crafted the higher ones for the hell of it. So I like that it wasn't like hard to get the keys. It's just more about, can you beat the dungeon? Which is totally fine with me. How huge is the difficulty jump from World Tier 2 to 3? Pretty decent. And then 3 to 4 is pretty decent as well. I'll say 3 to 4 felt worse. Or not worse, but it felt like the gap was bigger. But then again, we were pushing 4 pretty early. Actually, what you're watching right now is the reason we're dying so much. Is this is actually the capstone dungeon to go from 3 to 4. So if we beat this, then we could go to 4. And you can see I'm 51 and Village Shot's 57. I thought it was 53 at this time. Apparently he's 57. So I'm 51, he's 57. And we're trying to beat it to go World Tier 4. And I'm more or less getting one-shotted all the time. I'm too far behind at this point. It's really rough. And then we get to the boss. We do eventually beat it at this level even. But it was, because this is, I think, level 70. They're level 70. So I'm 19 levels behind. Veld's 13 behind. It was hard to push it. But we did eventually beat it. And that was because... once again, the rogue's disgusting. I more or less just tried to CC minions or give them Veld enough time to do the damage. My build didn't come into play until like 60s or 70s, and by then I was starting to like, okay, I'm starting to slap. But this right here is some of the most miserable time with this build, because it's right when everyone starts to get strong but you. So you're watching all these other classes like start to ramp, and you're still like, come on, I need like 2 pieces of my gear, or what you really need is actually Paragon points, because you scale so well from the Paragon point side of things. Any MTX store things available? No. Struggling because I played Barb from all the previous games, so I want to try Rogue this release. You won't be disappointed with Rogue. Would you go to the next World Tier as soon as it's unlocked? Probably not. And reason being is it's pretty much math. So if you... This is why I'm going to do... I'm never going to do World Tier 2. I'm going to go 1 and I'm going to jump to 3. Is because if you can kill everything 20% faster... then World Tier 2 is worth it because you get 20% more experience, right? But here's the problem with that. If you go and try to fight monsters, very often what's going to happen is you either one-shot them or you don't one-shot them, okay? Now, in the scenario that you one-shot them, you're all good. You have the checkbox, basically. I'm one-shotting my mobs, and then you just kind of farm. Or at least for my build, okay? I'm only speaking from, like, the Druid Pulverized build type of experience. Whereas, if you go to the next tier, and the next tier is just enough more, like let's say they're 15% harder for you, okay? But that 15% harder will make it where you can't one-shot the mobs. Then it's not really that you can kill them fast enough and that the experience is worth it. It's that you're having to cast the ability twice. So for me, what I noticed is if I can't one-shot mobs, I probably want to drop down a tier. because I will get more experience per hour killing more mobs that I'm one-shotting, as opposed to like, let me hit them 3, 4, 5 times to get 20% more experience. Like, the math doesn't math. Yeah, what up, Reese? So the math doesn't math. So for me, I'm going to stay World Tier 1, then jump to 3. And the thing about pushing 3 is because you start getting sacred items at 3, then you're going to want to push 3 as soon as possible. So 3 is an argument to it's actually worth pushing up in terms of anything outside of experience, because the sacred item drops you get are significantly better. And you get them when you're doing these capstone dungeons too, for instance. So you'll get the next tier upgrade or whatever it is, because these guys are basically the level of the mobs that drop it. Is there a build for Infinite Whirlwind? I don't know. I didn't play Barb. I'm sure there probably is one. I think Rax played Barb, so I'd probably point you to his channel. He's probably got one out. What's your overall feeling of the game's current state? Are we going to be happy? I think you guys will like it. I think if I'm trying to think of the complaints that we'll hear in order to be fair, because the game is good, and I can't really do spoilers, and I don't want to do spoilers, but the only thing I can say is the story's good. I think that's fair to say. The story's good, and it is worth enjoyed, would be my opinion. So I think you'll be happy from a narrative point of view. Now, as far as the gameplay's good. I mean, it got better at the later side of it. The beginning is like kind of slow and miserable at certain points. Depends how much you like primary stories. Like, for me, I'm never really a campaign guy in any game. Was it easy to tame the glyphs you want? Yeah, no problem. How can you get through the capstone if the math is so bad? Forge, you know. How can you get through a capstone? Well, they're kind of different concepts. So the reason you would push a capstone is to unlock the next tier, which doesn't really, like, I'm not following the line of logic of if I can't one-shot them, don't do it, because we're trying to push right now. There's a reason. We have an objective that if we clear this one static dungeon, this isn't like we're doing a farm here on this difficulty. This is like we need to beat it one time. And you can basically have infinite deaths because we're not playing hardcore. So we can work our way through it like we're waging a war on these guys. It will be fine. To explain that. So, but in terms of experience farming, that's not what I would do. So I don't want to run too much of the same gameplay in a row here. What I want to do is I want to show you, I have other footage I want to show. I want to show you this. I think you guys will think is funny. Check this out. This is a goblin cellar. I'm going to make this into a short probably. But every now and then, if you go into a cellar, you have the opportunity for it to be a goblin cellar, which means you're just going to get an absolute ton of goblins in it, and they're going to drop shit, which is absolutely hilarious, and I also love it. Dude, it's like going to Chuck E. Cheese all of a sudden, you know, you're just printing out tickets. Look at it. Now, that's a good feeling right there. So the goblin cellars stink, no doubt about it in my mind. Let's see, what else do you guys want to see here? What can I show? These are... Okay, can't go in any of those. That is like quests. You know what? I think I just have some overworld fighting type of gameplay. Let's go to some like basic farming stuff. Okay, so this is the PvP zone. So this is a little bit higher level. This is now at 71. Did you encounter the butcher quite often? No, fairly rare. Who needs the world boss when you have goblin sellers? I got more legendaries from the goblin sellers than I did from the world boss. Real talk. You plan to do a 24-hour stream? Good luck, man. I don't know if I can stream all 24 hours. I'm definitely going to play 24 hours, but I might stream like half of it. Can you go to any area in the world at any time? Or is it level or quest gated? I think it's open world. You know, I didn't try the break. To be fair, I didn't try the like sequence break. You know what I mean? But I think it's just open. I believe. I didn't try to test that though. Now I'm curious. I think it's open though, if I had to guess. I wish there was a gym inventory. Yeah, me too. That would be nice. But see, I felt like the bear was pretty good. This is one of the last things I did. The horse you're looking at is the PvP cosmetic horse. I want to know whether or not the aspects from legendary equipment can be traded. Nah. I have a question about Nature's Fury. Can you explain if free skill that is triggered to have upgrades, or is it a level 1, or we need to... You know, I don't know the math on that. I didn't data mine it. I'm not a data miner. And when it happens, I just see the damage. So I wasn't necessarily... Oh, what is that? I think I have my alerts are off.
Thank you for all the content while we try to survive until release. Thank you, pal. I always value your opinion and find you to be extremely well balanced in your assessments of the game.
Oh, thank you. I had my volume way too loud, though. That about blew my ears out. Let me find where that came from and read. Sorry, the alerts. I don't know why the alerts didn't come up. They're supposed to. So I'm going to fix that real fast because you just got scammed, and I'll call it out here one moment. Recent events. That was from Heavy Monster Pro. Thanks for the $10, Heavy Monster Pro. Appreciate that. Yeah, no problem. No question with that one, but I'll keep an eye on the chat if you have a question. And you guys said what the day 1 patch would do the builds. I don't know if they are going to do a day. Are they doing a day 1 patch? If they are, news to me. Hey, Delgar. Let's see. There will be a gym bag on day 1 patch watch. That would be nice. No doubt. How to do resetting the dungeons. They explained this in one of the dev live streams. But I never really tried to reset the same dungeon over and over. I think it resets like when you either leave the game or it resets after a certain amount of time. I forget what it is. You don't have to worry about it, though, because that's only in the beginning before you get the sigils, and you're not really going to farm dungeons without sigils. So once you have the sigils and you use the sigil, like, that's what does it. So you don't really have to, like, the resetting dungeon thing is something we were all worried about because of the early game. But it's not, you can see it's something like I barely even have thought about because it's not something you need to do in the later of the game, if that makes sense. How Necro summons were at later levels. I didn't see anyone playing Summon Necro. Echo Hack was playing Necromancer, though, so you could probably ask him. But from my understanding, I think summons are supposed to be better than they were during the last one, but you'd have to ask somebody who actually played Necro. Going Storm Druid. I think there's something to be said for like a Storm Earth combo. There's probably something there. Alright, that's about all I can show of gameplay. We're limited to 20 minutes per video or live stream, and it's been about 20 minutes worth. So, from here, I'm just going to answer questions. I'm trying to be pretty tight with being correct on the NDA stuff. How are the attacks from Mount? Pretty weak, but fun. How are the view hours coming on your new D4 channel? Great. We've applied for monetization. We're waiting for it to get approved. Did you only play Druid? Correct, because I'm doubling down on Druid. I'm going very, very down the Druid rabbit hole. How much did Nightmare Dungeons change from the normal version of the dungeon? Fairly significantly. Definitely fairly significantly. In terms of what your actual objectives are, pretty much the same thing. But in terms of how you play them, pretty different, because the Nightmare Sigils affixes are pretty varied, and some of them are like things you can't ignore. Like, I don't really want to spoil it, to be honest, because I think it's fun for you to experience it yourself on that one, but some of those mechanics are hard to ignore. Were there any new legendaries not data mined? I didn't see any new ones. I was one-shotting mobs at level 20, Sorcerer in World Tier 4 is worth it because I gained 20% killing speed. Yeah, for sure, if you're one-shotting. Outside of the game, how have you been? Just very busy. Preparing videos, building the second channel. Having to play the game. I was out of state when the early access dropped, so I was late to it. Opinions on no death elixir? Did they remove it? If they remove the cheat death elixir, that's news to me. If that's a tweet or something, somebody pull it up. Busy working on the game. Yep. How was Sorcerer looking, if you've seen any? Didn't see any Sorcerers. Well, actually, I think Brad played Sorcerer, didn't he? And he got to, I think, 50-something. I thought he said it felt pretty strong now that I think about it, but I never really got a chance to play much with Brad. High quality in your list, high quality editing in your last video. Shout out to Jim Tindo. What level did you complete the main story? So for me, I think it was 45. For Veld, it was 31. So that's a 14 level difference. He was Rogue, I was Druid. Here's the thing. We did something very different. So what he did was he basically pushed through the story. He killed no minions, and he pushed. Whereas my strategy was, and it wasn't really a strategy so much as I just wanted to have fun with the game, is I basically killed everything from point A to point B. So I just walked between here and there, and anytime something came up to me, I killed it. But he just ran past everything in order to turn in all the primary quests, skip through everything, go, 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 go. And he was stronger earlier due to the nature of how the aspects work on Rogue as well. So he blew past it way faster. And I feel like the Druid was very survivable. I think it's probably going to be easier for hardcore. Can't wait to play Rogue. Wanted to play hardcore, but my wife don't want the Lilith statue in the house. What's wrong with the Lilith statue? I like the Lilith statue. You need to get AJT for your bro time sake. Oh, what up, Woody? I just realized. Age of Empires 2 is a solid one. Age of Empires 4 is actually quite good as well, to be honest. Your opinion, 10 out of 10? No, the game's not a 10 out of 10. I would say a 9 would be on the higher end. 8.5 would probably be like fair. There's a few things that I didn't like, but none of them were game ruining, if that makes sense. Like there's a few things which I'm like, yeah, there'll probably be a Reddit thread about this at some point, but there was never like a moment in the game where I'm like, I don't want to play this. Like I was actually just really enjoying it all the way through. What was the most fun part of in-game for you? The fact that that's kind of when you start grouping up with your friends. You don't really group very. I mean, if you're trying to push the primary quest, no one's really doing the primary quest together. You're gonna rush through that, and then you're gonna group. So, getting later and then doing the 9 messages, etc. Yeah, you're gonna want to group for that. So that's probably why I liked in-game, because it started to actually make sense to group together. Hold on one moment. What difficulty you played? I played all the way through World Tier 4 until I got to the point where I was either 1, 2, or 3 shotting most of the mobs. Anything that really wasn't a boss. I could get like 350k crits, I think was kind of my peak with Druid right before I got shut off from the server. Is it true that ancestral uniques have a much higher drop rate than what was initially said? I didn't have problems getting the uniques I wanted. That being, I even got duplicates on some of them. But to be fair, I mean, I played a lot. How is in-game for solo player in Nightmare Dungeons? I think Nightmare Dungeons solo are just going to be harder. Reason being, you have limited lives. So when you're doing the Nightmare Dungeons, if you die, then you have to revive. You have to use the revive. And when you do that, it removes one of your total revives. So you have like 4 total revives in the Nightmare, okay? And if you use 4, it's GG and you get booed out. So if you're in a duel and you die, then your teammate can kill the dudes and then res you, and it doesn't remove one of the count. So having a buddy is going to be important. At least for that. Did they add flexible crotch pants for Maximum Borrelia? Yeah, they did, Ryan. They did. I think it's a pay-to-win cosmetic. The key of Nightmare Dungeon cannot be traded, but it can be crafted. To be fair, I didn't try trading it, but I'm pretty sure it's untradeable. Man, now you got me thinking I should have tried trading the sigil. But you get them pretty easy. Like, it's not like you're not gonna have to worry about the sigils. Thank you for showing us the map. No problem. But Nightmare Dungeons are definitely soloable, though. It's just harder. You say mean you Reddit nerd tears to drink after all the drama? What I like about the Reddit is no one hates their Reddit as much as they do. How well do mounts improve mobility? It's such a necessity. The very first thing you should do is rush to Act 4. Like that, it's actually written down in my like step-by-step what to do. It's number 1, play the game until you have the horse. Like that's pretty much exactly the first thing you want. It's mandatory. Okay, it's like absolutely mandatory. If you can give them werewolf build. Werewolf build felt really squishy to me, considering that you very much are melee based. I thought the poison was nice because there's multiple ways that you can get that poison to have you do more damage. But I instinctively found the front-loaded damage of the pulverized to feel better than the wait forever for them to die damage of the rabies. Granted, there's a combo you can do shifting between the two, and there's some rings where you get bonuses and etc. And then you can sort of pulverize to remove the poison, pop it, etc. We did test the poison popping. It only works for yourself, not for other people's damage. There seems to be a misconception. I think I was watching a Crypt video and he said it works too, but maybe we messed it up, but it's like we couldn't get other people's poisons to pop, so you can only pop your own poison as a druid, which is just, it's kind of weird. So I don't know. The werewolf is the one I wanted to play over the bear. Basically, that's the one I would have rather played. But the bear just felt like better. Does horse have more inventory? No. Why is Barb the best class? It has the most multipliers. I don't know if it's really the best, but it has the most. You're gonna have the most multipliers because you have more weapons than anybody. For the KFC sandwich cosmetics, do you need to buy one sandwich for all 6 or 7? I don't know. I'm not a KFC employee. Barb is the best in game and Druid. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Barb and Druid, I think, yeah. How is Druid build in game? Debating between Rogue and Druid. The Druid in game is nuts. Pretty nuts. If I answer your question, hit the like button for me. So as bad as for force grouping, do Nightmare Dungeons is more? No, it's not near as forced as that. Yeah, it's right around the inside, Drake. Like the beginning of it. If Druid was an Arby's sandwich, which one would it be? Probably roast beef. He's got beef with all the enemies and he ends up roasting them. Web speaker. If your Druid build for the Overpower build, could you tweak it for hardcore? Yeah, I mean, I think it'd work quite well for hardcore, to be honest, because it's a tanky build. Overpower innately is fairly tanky. Any idea how Necro Minion survivability is late game with all the mods? No, actually, I don't. I didn't play Necromancer. Echo Hack played Necromancer. He has a bunch of videos up right now. You could probably check him out for answers to the Necromancer. So I don't know if I'm going to main Druid over Necro. Yeah, I would say do Druid because at least you know I'm going to have a bajillion videos for you on Druid. So is Drip nice for the characters? There's a good question. It's actually shockingly good. All right. Let's see. I probably got another minute worth of footage I can show you here of that. I can show you the where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Where's a wardrobe? Oh no, I didn't delete this footage, did I? No shot I deleted it. Hold on. I have it on the backup drive, on the Google Drive. There it is, wardrobe and transmog. I'll show you, because that's a good question. I'll answer that. The wardrobe is actually very good. The cosmetics are like the free cosmetics just for unlocking it and salvaging is actually like really good. Wardrobe. Here you go. Kind of showing the slots and stuff here, but you can kind of see that if I start actually clicking on these. Come on, DM, what the fuck are you doing? There we go. You can kind of see it looks pretty cool. I mean, I think that's a pretty good transmog system. To be fair, like that's pretty good. I mean, look at that. It took me like 5 seconds, and I think my character looks badass. So you want to know about transmog? There you go. Just came in as Earth Werebear Strong, my bro. Yeah, no doubt. That's what I played. Felt very good. Super excited to play Druid past 20. Yeah, the here's a bit. I can't talk about the story quest or anything, but when you get your spirit boons, it's not gonna take you long to farm them. That's I was worried about that. I thought it was gonna take me long to like time to farm the blessings. Like by the time you get to the quest, you're gonna have like half of them anyway. It'll be fine. How are the respec costs? Probably the worst part of the game is trying to respec. You have to manually like go through your Paragon and remove every single node, and dude, we're talking like it is dog. At least I couldn't find a clear all button. Maybe there is one. I didn't see it. That part was extremely frustrating, and it's expensive. So it basically respecing in this game is not a thing. I mean, maybe it is a thing if you have a bunch of gold. Sure, you can do it, but it's a pain in the ass, and there is no armory system that allows you like. And Mordor's got a way better armory system for this, where you can save all your builds. D4, there's no way to save your build. So it's like you better have that saved either up here really well or have that saved like in a video or on a build website or whatever. Because it's just you can't save like presets at all, which seems weird to me because there's like a profile system built right into it. You'd think they would just have like a tab and you would just, one preset, two preset, but no. So it was very difficult for me to try multiple builds. Very difficult. You really are committing to builds in this game, which I'm actually okay with, to be fair. I think it's kind of weird when it's like, oh, I'll play this build for this man and this one. Like, I kind of like the whole, like, you're building a character and you're really committing down path. I'm okay with it, but that is how it works. Is Druid leveling that hard compared? Yeah, it's slow. This starts slow. You need to at least get, I mean, the earliest at all I started to do anything, I feel like, was 40, but it was really to, like, 60. And going into the 70s is when I feel like I was starting to clap. How's the story lore? Can't talk about that stuff. I can't really get into details on that because I don't want. First of all, I don't want to spoil it for people. Second of all, I can only really talk about gameplay mechanics, stuff like that. Are there transmogs for the werebeasts? Oh, you mean no? No, not that I saw. Maybe the unique did. I had the unique. I don't remember it. I mean, it makes you permanently a bear, but I feel like they're all kind of. They're just whatever, they're the same. Now I think about it. Maybe your hair color, because I had red hair, and I had the red bear, so maybe the red hair changes it. I don't know. I didn't think about it. Was it easy to play another character than to respec? Probably not, because you're still going to want to like have farm the gear, etc. What are your thoughts on Game of Thrones Season 8? I think she kind of forgot about the dragons. How was the companions in the late game? Didn't feel great. What do you think about Werewolf with the Starfall ability? I think Werewolf's fine. Like, I don't think Werewolf's bad. I'm just saying I liked Pulverize the best. All right. I mean, it seemed like the Druid had multiple builds that could do quite well. It was my impressions. How far did you play? I got to level 71. And I got in a few days later than some people because I was out of state. Dude, I can't manage to choose a class. Pick Druid. I picked for you. There you go. I think the landslide build's fine. If you want to do that. The trample landslide's pretty good. I just saw where someone hit 100 on Barb with maxed out Ancestral gear within those 2 days. Do you think Barb would be able to... Wow, that's nuts. I didn't know someone went to 100. That would have been dedication for sure. Nightmare easily 102. Well, I mean... I don't know if they can do Nightmare 100. That's 150. They might be able to. I don't know. I didn't get that far. I got to 71. How long did it take to get to 50? Trying to think in game time. I was kind of slow. I feel it was like 24 hours probably. How good would you say the Barbarian is when you say it's a fast leveling class? I mean... We saw, I think it was this one guy, Alkaiser Senpai, that had Whirlwind Barbarian in the early betas. And he was doing like 300k damage. Even then. So I could imagine Barbarian could probably snowball pretty fast. I think just having that many weapons is, going to be nutty. Do you fight all world bosses? I did. I actually have a video coming out on that, which is coming out today in just like an hour or two, actually. After this stream, I'm going to send it to you guys. Let's show you the channel right here. So this channel right here has it. It's going to be out here shortly. I just put a Diablo 4 Druid review out, so if you want to see some more footage, you can go here. But this one is where you're going to see more of that on there. Do you have any idea of ranking of the core abilities for Druid? I don't really want to rank the core abilities, because I kind of feel like they're different builds. Like if you want to do a storm build, and the other thing is like all the builds are probably fine. Like you can probably play the game just fine. I doubt they make it where it's like only the werebear can get all the way through World Tier 4. I seriously doubt that. Know what I mean? So you can probably do any of them you want. And I don't really want to discourage the people that want to play the Tornado one, and I put their Tornado at the bottom or something like that. It's... For me, I like Pulverize the best. Would be better to rush the story or do the story while side. So I personally, for me, will be rushing the story. I have already seen it and enjoyed it. So that's one reason. I don't really want to sit through it again after I literally just did it. The other reason I'm going to rush through the story is because I want to go to my capstone dungeon to get sacred gear. Once I get, far enough in the levels. That's kind of where I'm going. I want to get in Nightmare Dungeons sooner rather than later so that I can level my glyphs. That's sort of the plan. $10 BGN coming in from Mandy. Shout out to Mandy. Thank you. What is BGN? Let me see. Is that... That's Bulgarian. Shout out to my Bulgarian friend. Crip said all builds he made for Sorcerer on paper were all within 30% power of one. What was your impression with the Druid? That sounds pretty fair, to be honest. That sounds about right. I felt like the Werebear was the tankiest of them. I could see how the Werewolf Grizzly Rage combo might be able to stack damage very, very quick and could end up having better single target DPS. I could see that. I could see the Storm having good uptime DPS clear and AoE and stuff. And I could see them all having different uses. I think Crypt put it pretty well, 30%. I don't know if it's going to be 30% with the Druid. I feel like there's probably going to be one, either the Werebear, or it's going to be one I haven't tried out or figured out yet, that's going to be significantly stronger than the others, if I had to imagine. If you as a group, do you think Druid will suffer as much, really? Well, everyone's just got to get through the story. And progressing together in the story is possible. I'm just sure it's annoying. So I'm not necessarily sure that it's that big of a deal. Will you still pick Druid at launch? Absolutely. Hi there, thanks for the live stream. Silly question, but I need to ask. Is it even possible to die as a Druid if you... Oh yeah, I die all the time. You could go very high damage reduction. If you wanted to be fair, I was still scaling damage. And that's actually part of our plan, is when we get to the in-game boss, I'm going to go super high damage reduction. And then I'll be a reviver. But you're definitely very tanky. So you're one of the more tanky classes. Probably the tankiest class, I would imagine. So if you're playing at a difficulty that you're not, like, pushing, you know what I mean? And you have a super defensive tank setup, it's gonna be hard to die. How is Druid versus Sorcerer without WASD? I like WASD. And I think not having WASD is an out. And I also don't like... Moving with the mouse is annoying. That's just how I feel. So for me, I think I hate that. Why is it annoying to go through a story as a group, if you don't mind me asking? Because there's cutscenes and loading screens. So, look, you might load faster than me on one of the cutscenes and loading screens, but I might load faster than you on the other. And I don't want to sit around and wait for you. I just want to go, 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 go. So the story is probably best independently. Do you think they'll bring Druid doing more, though? Nope. Are you going to do hardcore? I'm going to do softcore on launch. We can't compete in the contest anyway, so there's not really a point. Do you keep the character you already leveled? No, they're already deleted and gone. We played on a totally different server. You're so excited. We all are. Game's going to be fun. If it weren't for the guaranteed overpower mechanic, would you rate both builds so highly? Well, there's multiple guaranteed. There's 3 forms of guaranteed overpower that you get in the build. So if you remove one of them, it might still be viable. I like the 12-second one. Probably still viable. You remove the other ones too? No. Which do you find easier for movement attacking? Druid or Sorcerer, since there's no WASD. I didn't play Sorcerer during the pre-early access. I did play it during the betas, and for me, I think Sorcerer is actually easier to move because you get the teleport and everything too. So if you do get kind of, you know, clunky stuck, you can teleport out. And very often the Sorcerer isn't just like targeting a person. You can like AoE. Do you test Shapeshifter only bear build? Which one you like the least? By Shapeshifter, do you mean between Werebear and Werewolf, like the combo build? Because I did try that, which for me felt clunky at best. But if you mean like going to human form in order to restore your spirit, I didn't really feel that was a necessity. As far as legendary drops, do you feel like it was near the same as the server slam build? Yeah. Referring to betas? Yeah, Delgar, I'd say it's sorcerer then. So you move with the mouse? Yeah. How is sorcerer for in-game? From what I've heard from other people, it's supposed to be fine. I don't think it's as strong as druid or barb will be, personally. Yo, LT Vanquish comes in with the minnow. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's fine, Josh. I'm not really worried about needing to compete. I'm mostly worried about just making YouTube videos. Shifting between human wolf bears and respect the hues every time we should decide to tank the butcher. I wonder if you tested the late game. Yeah, there's just better ways to heal late game, like a lot better ways. Like, for instance, there's the spirit boon that heals you when you crit. So you can change spirit boons anytime, just in the menu, even while in combat. So I don't really healing wasn't really like a problem. So I definitely wouldn't build a build around it. In terms of shape-shifting the human for the spirit, that wasn't really how I got my spirit either. And I don't really think that that's going to be a good way because the spirit gain number is so low and the cores and everything are so expensive that you need like a lot more than that, you know? Do you have any advice for people trying to compete? Look into the cheesy mechanics. So like sorcerer has a cheat death built into enhancement, the enhancement behind flame shield, from how I understand. The cheat death elixir, I don't know if it's going to be in day one build or not. There's some complaints about it. Then there's the scroll of escape. Look into these mechanics and how they work. I think they're going to be pretty mandatory. And then I would also keep in mind, like, don't push the world tiers that you're not ready for. There's really no reason to, unless you're trying to, like, you want to get a good drop, because it goes from world tier 3 you get sacred, then world tier 4 you get ancestral. So if you're trying to get that, you can push and try to get, but I would farm the one that you're comfortable in, you know? Do you still feel the fun spending that much money? 1D4 for the pre-order? Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to have a ton of fun on the first. Cool, I love the videos. I'm excited to see the content the next few days before the game releases. Yeah, there's one video out already. I have 2 more planned for the day. How much money do you spend on Warlord? Nothing anymore. I'm kind of done spending money on the game. We're talking about D4 right now, dude. We're talking about the D4 early access build. Immortal's been out of the year. Beat to death topic. You have to redo the campaign quest on World Tier 4 to move to... No. The campaign's one and done. And then you can actually skip the campaign the next character you make. You can just click skip campaign. Make a new character. Which is really nice. Does the insane amount of work you do with the game ever kill the fun for you, or you make more from it? It makes me more tired, and being tired can in turn make me not as enjoyable. Okay, but you already spend that much, so how much you spend in all game? I'm so sick of this fucking question, and like every time I go literally anywhere. I've said it in like 18 videos, dude. $3,350. Never stop making videos, Darth. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Are you making any videos on D4 where your viewers are whole without showing? Yes. Yes, correct, Milkman. I've already got one of those being edited right now. From Marvel Future Revolution to DI to D4. I'm still going to cover DI here. The second channel is where you're going to get the D4 at, which is, if you look at the pinned comment up top, it's this channel right here. DM Diablo 4. I'll link it. How do guild systems compare between D4 and Immortal? They're like not even on the same level. Immortal is about clans, and D4 clan is basically useless as far as I can tell. How long did it take to get to level 100? I didn't. I got to 71. But I was also I recorded like 60 hours of footage and stuff too, so I'm not really sure if I'm a good rule of measure for that. I think you spend $50,000. Well, then you're an idiot, because I have tier 2 wings, bro. My 2,800 resonance ass, 50K, I'd have to be the worst well on the planet. Just saying, I've been with you and can't wait to see more in D4. All right, well, thanks, man. I don't know if you've seen the Druid review yet today, but that one is that was a good video. The second channel is going really well already. We've got 4 videos out in the last 22 hours. Man, I didn't realize how hard I've been working this week. More fun or more pay to win? Bro, I can't translate, stupid. Oh, thanks for watching them. What up, Shell? You sound tired? I'm very tired. Been running on about 5 hours of sleep for a couple weeks now. Love from India? Oh, well. Love right back to you, buddy. We'll give him one more. Don't forget to take care of yourself. I'll take care of myself when I'll wipe my tears with my 10 million views. The plan is to build. Did you play Necro? During the beta, I got the 25 on Necro, but not during the early access. I was playing Druid. Just wondering about clans. Were they good for in D4? Nothing. They're basically a chat group. I mean, as far as I could tell, they're worthless. Do we face the Prime Evos? I can't talk about story spoilers. I can't. One, I don't want to spoil for people. 2, that's still embargoed into the second. Five hours, that's what I'm getting every day. Full-time job. Well, then you need a better sleep schedule, my friend. Full-time job, it's 8 hours a day. Not 19 hours a day. Wish I had 10 million YouTube accounts. Well, don't worry, we're doing pretty good. We're the D4 channel is actually pulling at the moment 4 times the views this channel is. We just need to get monetized. Your boy's doing it for free right now. What up, Indie Flock? How many hours a day do you think the average early access players were playing? The average? Oh, probably not that many. Yeah, I saw that, Ro. He got about halfway through the video. Did you level with your friends or solo? Mostly solo. We played together when we were doing like dungeons and bosses and stuff. Which is pretty much, I think, what most people are going to do. Because I think going through the primary quest, it's going to be better to do it alone than with a group. Do you think Druid's single target will hold up in in-game? That's a good question. The pulverized build didn't feel very good for single target. Just doesn't. Werewolf, I think the Werewolf Grizzly Rage Dire Wolf probably could be pretty good. And I could see the Storm build doing all right. But no, I think the utility in AoE is probably more where they shine. Do you regret playing Druid? Oh no, oh no. Druid is fire. Do you still play D3? No, I haven't played D3 in forever. I feel like Xylo just clicked on a random stream. Xylo, you've never actually watched this show before, have you? You're asking questions that, holy moly, every question is like, man. In the end, the sorcerer get weaker? Don't think so. I think they look like they shine early, though, yeah. They still look pretty good. Did Druid Spirit issues resolve themselves with items, or did you need Paragon for that? Good question. Items. Now, I won't say it fully resolved itself. I will say that there is definitely a Paragon board change that needs to happen and was going to be the next Paragon board I worked on. I think there is room for improvement in terms of the Spirit Generation that I had available, and you lose a lot of damage when you actually swap to the Spirit Generation form of Earthen Might. So, yeah, you might want to end up taking some Spirit Generation later. The other the point is that the Paragon board gives you more maximum spirit, and because you're instantly maxing out your spirit, if you do take the Earthen Knight, if you take both of them, your Spirit Generation will probably be solved at that point. All right, Xylo, I'll give you like 15 chances. Both need some vitamin D3. Agreed. Yesterday was a nice day. I went and sat out in the sun. Are you going to do a Q&A on Twitch? We might. I got a couple videos I'm uploading. Then we might go to Twitch, yeah. What up, Andrew? Should you get every Lilith statue? If you value your renown and Paragon points, probably. Eventually you'll win all of them. You won't have all of them by the time you do the main story. What are some of the best single target damage skills? I don't know out of every class. I can tell you in terms of the Druid's single target damage skill, I'd probably say the Werewolf has some of the better ones available. Primarily because like Shred and the basic attack can poison, and you can get the modifiers for the poison, which are kind of nice. And then you have an ability that pops a poison with a percentage damage. So if you have that aspect on, you can stack the poison and then hit it, and that's how you can pop a poison on a single target of your own. So I'd probably say that. I mean, right out of the rip, I'm planning to get them fairly early, yes. It's just raw stats. Raw stats means you're going to be stronger for every monster you kill later. I was around like 45, I think, when I did the main story, but that was... I went very slow through it and did side quests and stuff. Would D4 pull you completely away from DI? I don't know about completely. I'll still cover news on DI, but I'll be playing D4 the month it comes out, yeah. Are you doing a clan or net? Yeah, we have a clan. It's in the Aftershock Discord if you're interested. I'm not running it. It's Brad's thingo. There you go. Can you rebuild from zero all your stats, skills, etc.? Yeah, you can remove them all, but you have to pay the refund cost. And it's a pain in the ass to do it. Yeah, like click. That was my experience anyway. Yeah, I'm mothering. I could be louder. All right, I'm about to wrap up here, so any last questions anybody wants? What skills as a druid do you feel the most beneficial, active or passive? I think the ones that grant unstoppable, for instance, like Grizzly Rage and Earthen Bowwork, are really good, especially if you're doing shapeshifting. For like the trample one felt pretty decent because it can actually ramp up pretty hard when you have the earth-based abilities. I liked Rabies. Rabies is really good, and Hurricane is, I think, being slept on because it's mostly about the slow and vulnerability, and we don't really have ways to get vulnerability very often, and vulnerability is a really big W in terms of damage. So I think Hurricane can be quite good. It also has synergies with the way that it ramps the damage with Grizzly Rage. So, yeah, probably Hurricane is too. What up, Echo? You talk about PvP yet? Can you give us some information? You know what? I can give you some information, and you know how I'm going to do that? I have a video on the DM Diablo 4 channel, and I'll release it right now, and then you can go watch it. And it's a video that's already uploaded. I was just waiting to hit the release button. It's on this channel, and the video is going to be about PvP Zone, what it is, what it does. So watch this. I'll release it right now for you. Let me get my phone. That's how I can do it. Oh, there it is. And then we'll all go watch the video. Okay. Let me see. When is it scheduled to release? Well, you know what? I lied. I'm going to release it in like another hour because my only video has been out like 2 hours only. I don't want to release it yet. Okay, it'll be out in... What do you guys want to see next? The boss fights? All the boss fights? Or the PvP zone? Which one should I release next? PvP zone or all boss fights? World Tier 4. Is any... inventory management is easily my biggest complaint about the game. Easily. Like, hands down. It's not even close. You rather see the PvP over the world bosses? PvP? Everyone's talking about PvP. All right, we'll dump the PvP one next then. All right, you know what? Fine. Fine, you know what? Just for you guys. I'll dump the next one just for you. All right, you ready? We're going to dump the PvP one right now. Okay. It is published. There it is. PvP zone. Go, go, go. I'm going to link it to you. We're going to go watch it. All right, everybody. Click on the link. You are welcome to go enjoy the new PvP one. You guys asked for it. There you go. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. And we out. All right, go watch the video.